Bob! Howdy, hey, this is Frakbox, and I'm here with OmegaWolf.
Hi.
So it is currently negative 44 degrees Celsius. We have achieved 44% Russian. Not until it gets minus 100 is it full Russian.
There's some odd guy.
Somebody's yelling outside. We shouldn't be able to hear them. The window is closed. I finally took out the air conditioner.
No, he's
just being loud.
Just the power of odd propels his voice.
That guy was like really loud. So we have taken shelter in the basement of an apartment building. From where we are, we can hear the Germans talking further down the street.
Well, that's really bad if you can hear them.
Yeah, I mean, they're not being very careful. Just like that guy. That's the Germans talking down the street. The random guy out the window.
They don't know we're here. In the morning, we will head out to Lieutenant Volsky to recapture German positions between here and City Hall, if we have not frozen to death by then.
It is okay. We are Russian. We can survive. I like how we didn't have to turn on the subtitles for this. I think I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but wow, okay, this area. I remember this area.
Hooray, I get a pistol.
Oh yeah, is that all you have?
Yeah. Well, we got a PPSH.
Okay, I was like, do you only have a pistol? Oh, I think this is one of my favorite levels.
Yeah, this is when you finally get to go off the rails and just slaughter everything.
Yes. I usually just like use the pistol until I like run out of ammo on this level. Just because it's fun. This is like one of the only levels the pistol appears in. I don't know if you ever played Call of Duty. Did you play Call of Duty like the multiplayer, like the original Call of Duty?
Not really.
Okay, because it was fairly common for people to try to organize like pistol only rounds, because you would always spawn with your main weapon and a pistol, and people would try to, like, just as many people who successfully got pistol rounds going, where everybody would just use their pistol, I would see just as many rounds where somebody was like, okay, let's do pistol rounds. And then everybody's like, okay, yeah. And then somebody just pulls out a PPSH. Nobody honored it. You already got the sticky bombs, right?
Yep.
A tank's going to come in, right?
I already killed the tank.
Oh, you did? Okay. I guess I wasn't paying attention. But you just... Oh, was that one of your dudes?
Nope.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you have a bash button, don't you? That is a grenade. I think one of our soldiers died. But
well, good for him. He can find the sweet release of death.
One of the most fun weapons to use in like the original Call of Duty Classic, was the BAR.
Oh yeah.
Because it had a mode you could switch to for slow auto mode, and that slow auto mode was just perfect.
Boom 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 boom.
Yeah,
boom 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 boom.
It was like boom 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 boom. It was just like you had just enough time to like pick your target before the next round would go up. It was,
and you just felt power.
Because
what's with all the grenades?
Because when the rounds came out too fast with the full auto, with the BAR, it was just too fast. It was just way too fast. Fun story. The reason the BAR exists, the Browning automatic rifle, for those who don't know, there was originally a military doctrine proposed by the United States. They thought that... So this is how they thought they were going to use the gun. Soldiers were going to line up in a line and walk through fields with the rifle at their hip.
No.
And they were all going to have Browning automatic rifles, and they were just going to keep walking, shooting the weapon. This was their military doctrine. And shortly after they realized the realities of war, they realized that that was a dumb idea.
Yeah.
But the Browning automatic rifle was still a good rifle for what it was, from what I hear. But one weapon that was kind of infamous was the Thompson submachine gun.
Oh yeah.
So what's interesting is So the Thompson submachine gun. So when the United States was technically neutral, but not really, and they were selling weapons to the British,
Yeah.
to the UK. Were they the UK at the time?
I mean, they were.
I think they were still the UK at the time because they controlled all of Ireland as well, right?
Maybe.
I think they did. Anyway, so when we were selling weapons to the British, one of the weapons we sold was the Tommy gun, the Thompson submachine gun, which is a famous, like, gangster, right? A famous gangster submachine gun.
Yeah.
So it already had an image in pop culture as being a gangster rifle and being the weapon of crime.
Yeah.
So when Churchill basically put in orders for this Tommy gun weapon, there were images of him like holding it, like gangster style, like 1930s gangster style, right? 1920s, 1930s gangster style, like gun runners, or not gun runner, rum runners, I should say, from when Prohibition was a thing.
Sure.
And he actually got a lot of flack in the British media for that, because basically people were using it as like negative propaganda to like paint him as a thug, essentially. Like, oh, look at him being, using a gangster weapon. Again, 1930s gangster. So, for those who, I think that was more 1920s, wasn't it? Because the 1930s was more like Great Depression, right?
Thereabouts, I think.
Yeah.
World War II got us out of the Depression.
It did, which is strange. I mean, it gave everybody a job. I think people like to forget that like the best way to get out of a depression is government spending. Because I mean, you look at like the Hoover Dam, it gave people jobs, and then it produced, after it was done, it
still had jobs.
It produced more industry, which then created more jobs. Even World War II, huge government spending program. I mean, the factories alone that employed people, there were so many jobs that they had to start hiring women to do those jobs, which is where, luckily, suffrage comes from, in the United States at least. There just weren't enough men to do all the jobs because they were all being soldiers. Well, not all of them, but you know what I mean. So they had to start hiring women to do jobs that were normally seen as for men.
Yeah.
So society changed, right? It's there's a lot that we could say on that subject. I don't know that we're like a history, like YouTube.
I'm not a history buff.
We could become a history YouTube channel.
No.
We could very well just react to like history videos. I've always wanted to do something like that. Do something similar to like your YouTube channel, so on your YouTube channel we react to brony content because you're a brony, and it's a lot of just kind of culture shock on my part.
Yeah. It's like, this happens?
Yeah. So for me, like,
by the way, don't ever look up My Little Pony cupcakes.
Duly noted.
Like, even you won't be able to handle it.
Oh, okay. I know that there was a video that I think it was the Ego Raptor was a part of. I don't think you can be safely in here. Oh, you can do it. Okay, cool.
Bring it.
So usually during this part, I just like chase the tank. Like I can't figure out the tank's pattern. You almost shot your comrade.
Well, I didn't know if they were Germans or Russians. I was just trying to get out of the way.
But yeah, I usually just have to like kind of chase the tank around because I can never figure out its pattern. So, I don't know. I figure it out usually eventually. Oh, we finished the mission.
Or we got through that part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no. Okay, this is the end of the mission because the next one I remember.
I don't.
It's where.
Oh, yep. There we go.
Yeah, you start off and you like. There's like an alleyway and you're like going to City Hall. Yeah, I remember that. So
if we don't end war, war will end us. War never changes.
Yeah. So it's only 30 Celsius. So
it's only 30% Russian.
Yeah. So Lieutenant.
Oh,
you missed it.
Oh well.
Now we don't know what's going on. I mean, we know what's going on, but the people at home don't. I guess they could always pause it and just read it.
Oh right, this one.
Yeah.
Thing.
When I said I remember it, I meant that I remember this beginning part specifically.
Oh yeah, this is like the most evil Russian mission here.
Right. This is like second to last mission, I assume. I think. You know, it's interesting because you look at like in the Soviet Union, you look at like pictures of the city, right, that people took,
Yeah.
and there's no advertisements like anywhere, and it's really strange to like look at because
As an American.
yeah, because as an American we have advertisements like everywhere. I mean, we have a whole, you know, what is it? What's that place in New York? The whole square, Times Square.
Yeah.
Where it's literally just, we're celebrating the fact that it just has advertisements. Like, that's the whole point of Times Square, is to have advertisements. And so, I don't know, it's just weird. Like, I guess just society based on a different thing. Like, because for the United States, it's very much like profit motive. And for them, it's very much like, I don't know, like, what would be their main driving soul ideology, I guess. Like, because communism itself would, because like for capitalism it's like profit motive, right? Like get profit, grow business, that kind of thing. Like if you were to boil that down to,
get out of here, you are way too eager.
like if you boiled that down for like communism, like what would their main like
obey.
I think that's just fascism.
Well, that would probably be Stalinism.
Yeah. Well, Stalinism would be more like obey. Yeah. Like, because like I think I've mentioned him before. Have I ever told you about my friend Garriott? I think it's been so many years since I've talked to him. Garrett. We called him Garrett because that's what he told us to call him. But
die.
He was from the former Soviet Union. And he was a cop in the former Soviet Union. I think was it Kazakhstan? I think he was from Kazakhstan, which was part of the Soviet Union at the time. So we were both dishwashers when I met him. We were working at a golf club. Fun guy to work with. He was like my favorite part of that job. I mean, like working as a dishwasher is just not fun. So he would talk. I would ask him all sorts of questions. I was really interested in history, so I'd ask him. Like, we just enjoyed talking. He would talk about Alexander the Great all the time, because apparently in Russia, he's a big deal in Russia too. Anyway, so Garrett originally he went to college, which was free in the Soviet Union, which was nice. The problem is, even though it was free, the Soviet Union would tell you what you were going to do. So he originally went to school to be a lawyer. And when he finished up with his law degree, the Soviet Union came knocking, and they're like, well, you know the law very well. We're going to make you a police officer. Which, I mean, I'd like all police officers to have law degrees. That would be nice. But I wouldn't want to force someone with a law degree to be a police officer. But in the Soviet Union, that's just how it worked. They needed a police officer. He had a law degree, so it made sense to them, essentially. So he resisted at first, I guess, but then he was just, there's not a whole lot he can do. So he ended up becoming a police officer. And, are you going to pick that up? Perfect.
I'm trying.
And he was a police officer for years, and then eventually he became a police officer that, like, investigated other police officers. So he would, like, catch corrupt police officers, essentially. So he would, like, stake out police officers and do investigations and stuff like that. And I don't remember if he said... I think he caught, like, 11 police officers in his career. And corrupt police officers. So he would, like, get death threats all the time. And my friend Garrett...
He survived a headshot.
Well, of course he did. You know, those Germans working on their super soldiers can survive direct headshots. Anyways, so I think he left before the Soviet Union fell, or maybe he left around like the time that it fell. And he was saying he actually likes being a dishwasher a lot more. than being a police officer who investigates other police officers, because he gets a lot less death threats. There's still a German behind you. Right there. You might want to... There you go. So yeah, that was my friend Garrett. I haven't talked to him since like 2000, I want to say 12. Like early 2012. Wonder what he's doing now.
No.
I don't know. So we should probably call this episode here.
Probably.
Because I think this is the last mission, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. So this is Frakbox.
This is OmegaWolf.
Have a great day.
Stay safe.